Well, hey there, folks. Just like how only you can prevent forest fires, only you can prepare yourself for what's ahead on this podcast. But before we hike into the woods of horror films and all the terrifying tales they tell, you should know that on this show, we'll be taking a deep dive into some of your favorite scary movies. But be warned, there will be spoilers hidden behind every tree stump. So if you haven't seen the movie we're talking about, well, you should probably circle on back to the trailhead, partner. Not only that, but things can get a little, let's say, explicit around here. You'll hear strong language, and those opinions of ours, they can be as sharp as a bear's fangs. So remember, only you can decide if you're ready for the journey ahead. So stick around if you're prepared to face all those spoilers and listen to all that strong language and entertain some seriously bold takes. Otherwise, tread lightly. You've been warned.
God send a plague down on us because we're just a bunch of no good fellas.
We sure are that, Sam.
The ozone layer is of profound importance because it protects us from the harmful effects of the sun's radiation.
Got a pair of queens here.
Listen to this. I've been hearing that ozone crap all day.
The Earth's ozone layer was being depleted by a constant release of various chemical wastes in the atmosphere. A White House bulletin...
Like that Martian attack hoax we heard on the radio a long time ago, ain't it?
Yeah, I remember.
Well under control.
Maggie hoarded up 12 quarts of garlic dill pickles under her bed, just in case they attacked the house.
Sam, let me listen.
A complete report to the nation will be released later on this evening. Although the effect on living organisms is not yet known, people are being advised to remain indoors whenever possible, especially those in high-altitude areas where the sun's rays would be naturally stronger.
Hi, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creatures, features, and beyond. I'm Erika, and joined with me is a man who would absolutely try to out-alpha a wolf pack if given the chance. My co-host, Matthew.
I just had a mental image of just me eye-to-eye with a bear, just be like, "What's up? What's up?
You want some of this?"
Yeah, I mean, I trim, so I'm not hairy enough, so I just kind of go, "What's up?"
It reminds me of that image of SpongeBob when he rips open his chest and it's just chest.
His heaving bosom. Nah, more of a Ned Flanders bosom.
It's like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Stupid sexy Flanders.
I love sexy Flanders.
Don't we all?
Wait, do you have a sexy Flanders tattoo? No, you have the middle finger tattoo.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna get a Cholo Flanders too.
God, I love you so much.
I just want to fucking, I just want the space covered, so I'm just down for whatever at this point. I was trying to think, because I need to do my butt cheeks, and I want, like, I actually don't know what I want. Sorry, what? What was that face for?
You want? I didn't realize that you wanted your...
I have, like, 2/3 of my back done, and I want what they call a turtle shell, so it goes shoulders all the way through the middle of your thighs. So I need to do my ass, and my tattoo artist is a very close friend of mine, and I've asked him about it, and he goes, "Whatever, man, it's just skin."
It's true.
And then he's like, "I just wore a thong when I got mine." I'm like, looked at Alyssa, I said, "I guess I'm buying a thong," which I haven't done yet because I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so we talked about doing like a Cholo Flanders and then something that's kind of like the opposite of it. So it's kind of, because traditionally I think if you do a Japanese back piece, it's like 2 different versions of a dragon head or something to that extent on each cheek. They're like opposite.
What an image, man.
Yeah.
Respect, because that can't feel good.
It's probably gonna be pretty awful, but I like sweatpants and I work from home 4 days a week, so.
And you have a standing desk, so
I
if
do.
really push came to shove.
Fortunately, I don't have a standing couch or a standing bed or a standing toilet. I'm actually most concerned about taking a shit.
Oh, that's gonna be awful.
I bet you within a day. So Pete uses this stuff. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's just like saran wrap that sticks to your skin. So it's not like in the old days where they would like put bandages and duct tape the shit out of you. Like he still does it for Alyssa because we don't know if the shit would fuck with her skin. But
Isn't that? I think it's called new skin.
I think it's called new skin, but I also thought new skin was like the shit that you like painted over a wound. Because when I bowled a lot, we'd always keep new skin because you'd tear the shit out of your thumb.
I'm asking Jackie because Jackie's tattoo artist uses that shit, and it's so fascinating to me. Number one, I really want a new tattoo, but number two, I can't wait. Derma Shield. That's what it's called.
Yeah. New skin is a thing though, so you're not like far off. I do have an appointment in May since we're on the topic.
I can't wait to come out and visit and get my Pete tattoo, which is going to be my Treehouse of Horror typewriter that just says "Feelin' Fine."
Yeah, he tattoos Seth too, so he tattoos us all.
I didn't know Seth was a tattoo boy.
Oh yeah, he's less than me, but he's got 2 sleeves. Both his legs, his back is done.
Oh, so he's very heavily tattooed.
He's got a solid handful, but he's gonna listen to this and be like, what the fuck, man? He won't actually. He's a very nice boy. But yeah, no, so his brother's actually the guy that introduced me to Pete. And Jake is very heavily tattooed by Pete.
Nice. You can find Monster Madness on all your favorite podcasting platforms, social media sites, and things of that nature. Matt does stream video games and drum sessions from time to time, and I do join him on streams occasionally, because we will have to Phasmo soon, because they definitely changed a bunch of shit.
Yeah, so the unfortunate kind of situation is if we either podcast or we play video games one day a week, just because of schedules, and we've been recording, so we haven't been streaming. So
yeah. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so in many different ways, such as Patreon, buying merch, donating to the show, or simply leaving a review. I will be updating. I'm hoping by the time this one comes out, I will have updated our merch store. So be on the lookout for that. And also feel free to leave us a review on your favorite podcasting provider. Those 5 stars go a long way, and we really appreciate it. If you write something or shoot us an email, we will read it on the show. We have a new friend. I want to give them a shout out. We will eventually be putting a ad in our show for them. We're going to do a little ad swap. It's called Fantasy Pants, which sounds nefarious, but it's a D&D podcast that reached out and asked if we wanted to do an ad swap with them. Really cool people. So yeah, you'll hear us on their show, vice versa, yada, yada, yada. Maybe we'll have them on as guests eventually. But yeah, I don't know when that ad is coming out because we kind of have to make one. But soon, potentially. Matt, do you have anything that heebies your jeebies this week?
I got 3 kinds of Pringles. I've only tried 2. Brisket Pringles, which were fine. So the funny thing about my marriage is that Alyssa and her food allergies doesn't ever eat anything of my snacks, but she always wants to smell them. Same with beer. Doesn't drink them, she just smells them. And I've determined that the worse something smells, the better it tastes. So these brisket Pringles, she goes, it smells like absolutely nothing. And they were fine, but they didn't heebie my jeebie. Like, I wouldn't, if you see them, get them, but don't really expect a ton. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
The other ones I got that I've tried are dill pickle, which are very fucking dilly on the front end. And then there's like a little bit of sweetness on the back because the Pringle chip itself has a little bit of sweetness. So it's like that. They're really fucking good. I just cracked into those last night. And then the other one I got was 7-layer dip, which I just had, like I said, I have not eaten yet. I made red velvet sourdough bread.
Yeah, you did.
Dude, I killed half. So I gave half the loaf to my friend Chris, and then I ate the other half within a day.
Nice.
And then so that was last Friday because we had wrestling. Chris is one of our wrestlers. Saturday, I went to a concert in Milwaukee with his girlfriend because we like the same music. And so we went and saw the band Imminence, which is a Swedish metalcore band. And they're just like getting really popular in the States. I had seen them before. Chandra had not. But so she hates red velvet. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll make like a chocolate cake one. Or a funfetti cake one. And I told Alyssa, and she goes, yeah, the cake bread thing is a pretty big deal right now. And I said, shut the fuck up. I felt like I was really onto something here. So we'll see how I can expand my sourdough horizons. We were supposed to talk about focaccia yesterday at work. Because I do the 3 guys that I work with, there's 4 of us. We all like literally sit next to each other. We all shared a sourdough starter and like talk about bread and shit. Yeah, it's real goofy for 4 adult men in their late 30s or early 40s. To be talking about this, but and then not a food, but I found a new podcast about. Okay, so it's I think it's over at this point, but it's from Wondery, so it's not like a cool like little person, but so I listened to a podcast called Darknet Diaries, which started off way cooler, but now it's huge and popular, so it's commercialized. But there was an episode about a hacker who got onto an assassination, like hire an assassin website. And found out that he could just search messages. Like he sent a message to the website to try to debunk it and found out that all he had to do was change something in the URL and he could see every message that was ever sent ever because their security was trash. So he pulled everything down and they gave it to like a reporter. And then, so if you want the nerdy side, go to Darknet Diaries, listen to the episode Kill List. If you want the true crime story side, the Wondery podcast Kill List, same name. It's the reporter who's going through the list of people that are trying to like the names that they find of people that are trying to get assassinated, and he contacts them and tries to like tell them what's going on while he's working with the local police and while he's working with the FBI and shit, because it's a fucking worldwide thing. So it's like I'm only like 4 episodes in, but he's talking to like a lady in Switzerland who is they found out was her ex-husband was trying to kill her because he didn't want to have to pay her. Sure. And in the episode I just listened to, they picked up the husband, who was a doctor And he had this very elaborate plan typed out on his phone when the FBI grabbed him about how, yeah, no, I wanted to stage a suicide but make it look like an accident so my girlfriend, not his ex-wife, would get the money. And then they're like, yeah, no, that's totally fine, but we have every message you said where you're like, here's $10,000 extra dollars if you get her to come back to me, and here's $25,000 if you don't get the kid addicted to heroin. It is wild.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it all started because this one hacker was trying to prove that assassination websites and a lot of dark web marketplaces can be debunked as false, and then it turned into this whole thing. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
Shit. If you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
My heebie-jeebies are all TV shows right now because
Fair enough.
I was sick last week, and I've had like what I like to call rot weekends because during like Monday through Friday is just kind of really nonstop for me. You know, I wake up at 4 a.m. to work. I have some downtime, which usually consists of like pod work, freelance work, kid stuff, this, that, and the other, or overtime, whatever it is. And then I have to pick up my kids, do dinner, do baths, do bedtime. And then I have maybe a little of time with my girlfriend at night and then sleep, and you just do it all over again. You're, just fucking repetitive bullshit. Occasionally I'll pepper in gaming in there to kind of just have some reprieve. But when I was sick for like 4 days, I believe. And Brooke was too. And we, in the span of 4 days, watched 3 seasons of 2 different shows. We watched the first season of Breaking Bad because she has never seen it. And it's like 6 episodes, I think, maybe 8, if that. It's very short. And I forgot. I haven't watched that show since it came out. I think I've only done one watch through of it because it was just, I mean, and when I did, I loved it, but I've never been like, oh yeah, that's a show I'm going to binge over and over.
But rewatching, because I've watched it twice now, and the second watch is so telling of everything because you know what happens at the end.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say much because we haven't gone to season 2 yet because me and Brooke, it's kind of funny. Me and her have a list of like shows that we will only watch together, and like she has shows that she watches on her own and my own when I have time, which is very rare. But mainly it's like this huge list, and we kept like accidentally watching stuff without each other. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. We have a list so we could consult said list. But she's like, I want to watch something, you want to watch something, and we can never agree on it. So we basically wrote out all of the shows by hand, put them in a bowl, and picked out one each. And those are the shows that we're going to binge and watch. And we're like, this is completely fair. We each get a veto, though. Like, if it's a sitcom, we can back burner it because sitcoms are like, because like I picked Married with Children out of the bowl first. And I was like, I don't know if I'm in that kind of vibe. I love Married with Children.
But I agree with what you're saying.
We have veto power. Then I picked Breaking Bad. I was like, I can live with this because I haven't watched it in a very long time, and I would love to watch the entire thing straight through. She picked out Bridgerton, which I had no idea what the fuck that was at all until she put it in there. I was like, okay, how about we watch 1 season of each, and then we'll decide which one we're going to binge fully through, and then instead of going back and forth, because then that gets a little confusing. Watched the first season of Breaking Bad within, obviously, a day, because it's like 6 hours of your life. She loved it. At least that's what she told me. She's going to hear me say that, and I'm pretty sure she's kind of like blasé about it. But then Bridgerton, I watched the first season of it, and it's so fucking wild that I was like, okay, we have to watch all 3 seasons of this. It's a period piece.
I'm out.
Yeah, you're totally out. You would never, ever watch this. It's about...
Especially if it takes place during the Regency era in England.
Specifically the Regency.
Yeah, it's the only one I hate the most.
Exactly. It's wild. It's basically, well, they're smutty little books. It's like 9 books that turned into a series. It's full on smutty ridiculousness, but I loved it. It's funny. It's ridiculous. The music is pretty good. And, most of the characters are pretty enjoyable. And they have, the main theme is like, it's centered on the Bridgerton family, which is a family of 8 siblings and their mother, Violet. She's a widow. And there's this lady in their town, which I forget the name of the fucking town right now, but named Lady Whistledown, who is this anonymous person who writes scandal sheets. And it gets delivered to everybody. And she's basically just as powerful as the queen with like her pen. and it's like full of drama and ridiculousness. And we watched all 3 seasons within a weekend. We watched the first 2, and then we just finished this 3rd season like earlier this week. So this weekend we'll be watching Breaking Bad. But yeah, those 2 heebie'd my fucking jeebies for sure. Also, True Detective Night Country. We watched that the weekend before, and that was fucking great. Because we watched the first season, then skipped to 4. Eventually we'll do 2 and 3, but I've been told by numerous people that those are not worth my goddamn time. So that might be either a solo watch or we'll eventually get to them, but it's not like prevalent. But season 1 and season 4 there's connections. Not like direct, like you don't have to watch the first season to watch the 4th season because it's anthology type show, kind of like American Horror Story. But there are similarities and there's a mention of a character from season 1.
It says that it takes place in London.
Bridgerton?
Yeah, so that's the problem is I just Googled where it takes place and it says London, but there's a lot of other shit. Regency London is what it says. I mean, it was filmed in Hampton Court Palace, Painshill Park, Rangers House, Lancaster House, the Reform Club, a place called Bath.
Oh, Mayfair.
Oh.
Which I should have fucking known because I lived in a Mayfair. And I was like, oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Bridgerton is a fictional upper class area of London. The main location, it's called Mayfair. Well, it's fake. Apparently it's fake. I don't know. It could be real because I'm pretty sure Mayfair is a real place. That's a neighborhood in Philadelphia too.
There's a Mayfair Mall in Wisconsin. That's pretty cool, right?
Nice. So yeah, all that TV heebie'd my jeebies. So, it doesn't heebie my jeebies though. What you told me about Plex.
Yeah, everyone I talk to though has Plex Pass, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that sucks though. Because I told my dad about it today, and he was like, "Oh, $20 a year isn't bad," but it's just like a bummer to like the people that like I've given it to who aren't expecting because I've always been like, it's free, don't worry about it. But now that they're doing $2 a month isn't horrible to just access shit,
right? And
$20 a year is even less horrible. So yeah, so if you're on my Plex, guys, I'm really sorry, but you're gonna have to pay $20 a year or $2 a month.
How many of our listeners are on your Plex that you're just announcing it while recording an episode? Yeah, this is
3 or 4.
This is taking entirely too long.
You're fine.
No. I meant you're counting of how many people just mooch off your shit.
Oh, it's not mooching.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I love
mooching.
Sharing my films.
Mooch.
Especially with people who appreciate it. I recently just gave it to my daughter's teacher, very randomly. I was just like, you gotta go on my Plex. I love her very much. She's been great for my youngest daughter. Absolutely, my kid was obsessed with her in that class, and they bonded really well, and it's the least I could do. And she loves horror, and she's really into all that stuff. And she was in some horror short films, I think she said, or independent films. And yeah, really, she goes to Monster Mania every year. It's just with her dad. It's awesome. And I was telling my dad about it today. I was like, we should do that shit. You introduced me to horror. Why the fuck are we not going to horror conventions together? Because he goes to them by himself. I'm like, why the fuck am I not going with you?
Yeah,
but
Michael.
Either which way.
You horse's patoot.
Mikey sparingly listens to this show, thank God. But because he'd be like, why the fuck are you saying this shit on air? And I'll be like, Dad, I don't know. Either which way, those are the things that heebie our jeebies. We love it. So this week on Monster Madness, we are going to cover a film from 1977 called Day of the Animals.
I think it's best we keep the fire up tonight and post a guard.
You really think it's that serious?
Well, I don't know. There's something strange in the woods, and I don't know what it is.
Well, could you do me a favor, St. T? Could you kind of keep this to yourself for a while? We don't really know what's going on, and, well, these city folks sure wouldn't take much to panic them.
Day of the Animals is rated PG-13. It filmed in 1976. It was released on May 13th, 1977. It falls into the horror thriller nature revenge genre. It runs for 97 minutes. It is directed by William Girdler. It was written by William W. Norton and Eleanor E. Norton. I wonder if they're married or brother and sister. I don't know. It was produced by Montoro Productions Ltd., which, interesting, Montoro Productions. Well, the name Montoro is the name of a teacher I got fired, actually, when I was in grade school. Whoops. This is a random story that you're going to hear from me, but when I was in like 3rd grade, I was in this bitch's class, and her name was Miss Montoro, and she hit me on the hand with a ruler with it had like a metal edge to it, and it split my knuckles open. And because I was using my fingers to count, and she was a fucking sadist, and I went home and I told my mom what happened, and we about faced and walked back to my school because it was literally across the street from my house in Northeast Philadelphia. And my mom stormed into the principal's office like fucking Kool-Aid man and
Just
was
kicks
like,
in the door. Oh yeah, pops her earrings off.
basically, she's like, she's like, this needs to get handled right now. And like started screaming at the principal because there had been issues with this teacher before. She was just like a really mean person for no reason. And then when we left after the principal said he would handle it, my mom then walked to that classroom and cornered that teacher in the room and got in her face and screamed at her. Oh yeah, she was pissed. I mean, she made her kid bleed, so I get it.
Did you look at her and
but
go, "No one makes me bleed my own blood"?
in hindsight, I should have.
That line wasn't even in the zeitgeist at the time.
I know. Just take my knuckles and scrape them across my face. No one makes me bleed my own blood. Just like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? It was distributed by Film Ventures International. The special effects were done by Paul Stewart. He did the makeup. The main cast is as follows. We have Christopher George, Leslie Nielsen, Linda Day, Richard Jackal, John Seeger, Paul Manatee, Michael Ansara, Ruth Roman. Some taglines. The only person I know in that whole fucking thing is Leslie Nielsen.
Which I did not fucking expect to see him in this movie.
I knew from the title card,
Right,
obviously,
right.
but I did not expect him to be this kind of guy in that movie, because the only movies I've ever seen Leslie Nielsen in are Naked Gun movies
Right.
and Dracula Dead and Loving It and Plan 9 from Outer Space or whatever.
Oh fuck! I forgot he was in that. I do want to point. Like I watched this last night, and last night we had like a weird middle of the spring snowstorm. So like our power would randomly flicker. So it was like every 20 minutes I'd have to restart the fucking cocksucker. So I was doing other things while the title card started. So it wasn't until he walked on screen and I looked at Elizabeth, I was like, holy shit, it's Leslie Nielsen.
I'm gonna love him in this.
No, I didn't say that because he was already being serious. And I'm like, nope, don't care for this one bit.
I didn't really like take it as him being serious. I was just like, okay, this isn't like a slapstick
Right.
comedy, so maybe he's just being a normal, quote unquote. But no, things turn dark real quick.
Yeah.
Some taglines for the film. After the movie, only the terror remains. A shocking vision of things to come. For centuries, they were hunted for bounty, fun, and food. Now, it's their turn. The terrifying movie of a world gone mad. This little girl has seen it, and she will never be the same again. She lived through the day of the animal.
I didn't realize Leslie Nielsen's almost been dead for 15 years.
Damn.
Yeah, November 28th, 2010.
He's looked like 90 years old for 50 years. How old was he when he died?
84. The picture on his Wikipedia is from 1982, and he looks the exact same in 82 as he did in probably 2005.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. It's that stark white hair.
Mhm.
Something is out there. Something so evil it paralyzes the soul. There is no place to hide on the day of the animals. Those actually weren't like horrible, but like it did not for what this movie was. It.
Do you know Leslie Nielsen was in World War II? Because I'd rather talk about his World War II career than this movie.
Oh, what did he do in World War II? What was his what branch and rank?
Well, if I click on World War II, it's gonna take me to World War II. But he was in the Royal Canadian Air Force.
I didn't actually know he was Canadian until this moment.
Me neither. Still more interesting than this movie, which is weird because he was no, he was born in Saskatchewan, died in Fort Lauderdale. Could we just change this to the Leslie cast instead of talking about this movie? If you don't know, I hate this fucking movie.
Leslie Madness.
Monster Nielsen.
Love it. You always come up with such better names.
That's fine.
He was an aerial gunner
Oh,
He enlisted as an aerial gunner but was too young and never saw active combat. After the war, he used government funding for veterans to attend acting school, which eventually led to his long career in film and television. So my next
okay.
question, has Leslie Nielsen, I'm going to think no because he
Done
never saw active
pornography?
duty.
Oh, no, we're on different terms. Okay. I didn't realize he was in Bonanza also.
I know you're a big Bonanza
I'm not.
Bonanza
It's his
fan.
pictures on the Wikipedia. I don't give a fuck about Bonanza other than the song. No, 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 Bonanza. By the way, he also looks the same in 2009 in a picture, if you look under final acting years, that he did in 1982, just a little older. I don't want to talk about this movie. Could we please not talk about this movie?
You know, it's going to be really sad for you to realize that you're going to be reading the Wikipedia page for this movie.
Why didn't you tell me before I started drinking 4 hours ago?
Because I like it when you're all sauced up.
Fuck.
Hold on, I'm looking up the last picture of Leslie Nielsen. Yeah,
I
he
hope
looks
it's just
exactly the fucking
nude.
same. Do you want me to Google Leslie Nielsen nude?
No, I don't
That's
think he
illegal.
actually did anything nude. It's just Leslie Nielsen. The thought of Leslie Nielsen having just a massive swinger is still more interesting than this movie to me.
I really hate what you just said.
No,
Okay.
you don't.
Do we have a budget?
Yeah. $1.2 million. Inflation calculated $6.3 million doll hairs today.
Nice. And I don't think we have a box office, do we?
Box office $7 million or $36.8 million.
God.
So not great. I mean, respectable enough for what it was, but I mean, you got to keep in mind, 1976, there wasn't a ton of horror coming out. This is still pre-Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was 79, so.
Speaking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because I know you're not dying to read the plot of this.
No. I literally would have a fucking colonoscopy before I read the plot of this.
That's extreme. I don't know where I was in 2022, but I did not realize that there was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out in
not good.
Maybe that's why you must have told me it was terrible and I never downloaded it. I just did to watch it, but
It was straight to Netflix.
yeah, I don't remember this at all, and I literally just downloaded it today.
You haven't watched it yet?
No, I'll probably watch it this weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
Have a good time.
Google, it's got a 4.7 on IMDb, 30% Rotten Tomatoes, 54% on Google. I just remember there being a lot of issues with it and a bus.
There can't be more issues with it than that one Texas Chainsaw Massacre where that girl was like, "Get him, cuz," and she's supposed to be like 47 years old and she looks 22. So
Which one is that?
I don't know, but it's bad.
Oh, 3D. Ow!
There it is.
Yeah, I'm watching the clip.
Oh, it's so bad. Get him, cuz. That's almost as bad as Paul Walker saying "cuh" in Too Fast, Too Furious.
By the way, the line is, "Do your thing, cuz."
That's it. That's it. Do your thing,
my
cuz.
God. Yeah, I forgot. Because that one was...
That literally gives me a full body reaction, like cringing.
2013. So when did...
That came out in 2013?
Yeah. No, that can't be, though. Texas Chainsaw. So there's... Oh, the 2008 remake. I think that's the one I was thinking of. Is it 2008?
With Jessica Biel?
2006. Because I remember specifically seeing it in a movie theater in Texas. Making my cousins who hate horror movies take me. Because I was like 20 at the time. 21.
Number one, that's awesome to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Texas.
Yeah.
Number two, I actually loved the remake with Jessica Biel.
2003. Sorry, 2003 is the one that we're talking about. So yeah, I would have still been in high school at the time. But yeah, no, I think it's not a bad movie. The fucking I Love Arlie Ermy. The shot when they shoot the fucking hitchhiker, or sorry, the guy in the car, and then they pull the camera out through the bullet hole. It's like it's such a fucking cool shot. It's like it was a great movie for what it was. Oh, I should watch that soon.
Yeah. I remember watching that in 2003 with my brother, and I remember that scared the shit out of me. The twang on because they used a tuner on a piano string to get that like that's
such a wildly
that's so
unsettling
good.
sound,
right? And then when they're doing that voiceover that John Larroquette or whatever his name is, I don't
John
even
Lovitz,
remember.
yeah.
It's not John Lovitz.
Oh.
He's losing his mind.
And I'm reaping all the benefits. I say that a lot at work.
Me too. Well, not at work, but just I
In
just think of that
general?
gift.
Yeah.
In general. um,
Hey, did you know Popeye the Slayer Man comes out tomorrow?
fucking right, it does. That's amazing.
I was explaining to my
cannot
parents
wait.
that there are 3 Popeye horror movies, and my dad is real pissed because there's Popeye's Revenge, Popeye the Slayer Man, and Shiver Me Timbers, which comes out later this year.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I love it. But I loved the intro to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just going back to that real quick,
Mhm.
where they're kind of like explaining, like, this is a horrible crime scene. This is the only known photo we have of the man known as Leatherface. You see, like, claw marks on the ground, and then you see those claw marks happen, like, in the movie. When he's clawing to get away from Leatherface as he's being dragged by the ankle and his nails rip off.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
so that at the time in 2003, that was like the most fucked up thing I had seen. And I was like, what? But you know, when you're fighting to survive, I was like, that's really, really realistic though.
Right.
And then just putting him on the hook. It was so grotesque and horrible. And it was such a good standalone. Oh, I love it. I love that movie.
I've actually been replaying Texas Chainsaw Massacre game a lot because Call of Duty is starting to lose its allure, and WWE is only has it only holds my interest for so long.
Yeah.
So I'll play like 1 or 2, and man, that game. I think they made that game pretty fucking hard. I always play as the family because it just seems easier to me, but
Mm-hmm.
still a great fucking game
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
for 54 cents. Remember, it was on sale for $10, and I had $10 in Xbox, and I only realized it when I went to pay for it, and it was like, your total's 54 cents. I'm
Yes,
like,
now I
fuck
remember.
Yeah.
Speaking of video games, and then we'll have to talk about the plot. Like I mentioned earlier in the episode, Phasmo had an update. They updated the farm. I haven't played the farm yet because I was just kind of like, because I haven't played it in weeks because I was playing it a lot, and then I was like, all right, I need a break. And then I played 3 Life is Strange games, and I'm on the 4th game now, and I'm almost done that. And I'm just taking my time with it. I'm also playing The Last of Us Part 2 again in prep for the show coming out soon. I actually don't remember when this episode's coming out, so.
Was pretty vocal about I will not be watching that.
Oh, eventually I hope you do, because I really think that if you got past that one episode that you thought was really, like, pointless, you would really enjoy the show.
No, I mean, I finished the first season. It just, I didn't do it for me. But
Oh,
I will let you triage the second season. I do plan on getting the remake of 2 comes out on PC in like 2 weeks. Something like that's the beginning of April.
Shit, yeah.
So when it goes on sale, I'll pick that up.
Oh, it'll go on sale quick, don't you worry.
Yeah.
But that game, 1,000% is worth whatever the price is. To be honest
Everyone
with you.
I've talked to has said it's a fucking great game.
It is. But back to Phasmo,
Mhm.
I, was dusting myself off and did Tanglewood on amateur, hard as shit.
Really?
Yeah, I could not get a fucking lick of evidence. I was hunted a bunch. I'm usually in and out of Tanglewood within the 5 minutes.
Right.
And they have made it a lot harder to get the ghost to interact with you on amateur. They want you in that house. They don't want you doing what I do, which is like in and out lickety split.
And I think that's probably why they rebalanced Tanglewood as hard as they did.
Probably, for sure. And I get it, but I'm like, God damn it.
Right.
So I have no money because I keep dying. But
Idiot.
I know, right? I've played it on Nightmare. That shit is hard and terrifying. So have you ever played Nightmare?
Nightmare as you know it today, no. Nightmare in some capacity, I would have to assume I did.
So I don't know how they did it way back when, like a few years ago, but Nightmare now, you only get like 2 pieces of evidence. You don't have any monitors to know what the scale is, so you can't even be like,
Fuck that.
yeah, you can't tell if it's EMF 5, you can't tell what your sanity is, and you've already start on a lower sanity anyway. In the hiding spots in Tanglewood, which is like behind the crib, behind the changing table, in some of the closets, they put boxes there so you can't hide. The breaker is always switched off, so it's always dark. So you have to find the breaker.
I did hear that.
I think that it can change its favorite room no matter, like, whenever it feels like.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's just a hostile motherfucker. I don't think you get a cursed possession in Nightmare because you just walk in, you're cursed.
Yeah, did you look at the roadmap? Like they redid Bledstale Farm, they're redoing Grafton, and then there's a new small map coming out. There's an Easter event, Halloween, and holiday planned.
No, I didn't.
There's something called Horror 2.0. in 2026, house map reworks in 2026, new maps, and new seasonal events for 2026 also.
You love to see it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking real pussy tight that they're doing so much cool shit with this game because it's been out for almost 5 years now. Shit.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely getting such a much bigger audience because you have it on everything now except
True.
like Nintendo.
True.
So it's getting a lot bigger audience. Like I told you, I suggested it to Brooke's best friend, and that chick plays it like every single day now. Like she's in it. She was like playing Diablo all the time, and now all she does is play fucking Phasmophobia, and she's prestiged, I think.
Oh, fuck. So it sounds like it might be coming out on the Switch 2 because the Switch 2 will have a microphone. The Switch does not have a microphone. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Matt, I think you have to read the plot now. Are you pretending that your microphone cut out?
No, I thought about it and I just didn't.
You could do it. Don't worry, the movies start getting better from
No,
here
I
on
know. It's
out.
usually the early ones are always a little draggy, but
Little.
hang on, let me wet my whistle. The depletion of the Earth's ozone layer by aerosols has been causing increased exposure to UV radiation at high altitudes. Scientists observe that animals over 5,000 feet in altitude become highly aggressive. One small-town sheriff barely escapes getting mauled to death by rats. The government orders the evacuation and quarantine of all settlements above the altitude. In the midst of this, a group of tourists in Northern California set off on a hike through the wilderness led by tour operator Steve Buckner and Native American guide Santy. The tourists are the bickering Mandy and Frank Young, Mrs. Shirley Goodwin and her son John, Paul Jensen, Professor Taylor McGregor, young couple Bob Denning and Beth Hughes, Terry Marsh, and Roy Moore. With no way of communicating with the outside world, they are ignorant of the strange animal activity that is baffled when a wolf attacks their camp. They shrug off the incident and continue to hike as the woodland creatures eye them menacingly. However, Mandy, the wolf victim, and Frank are allowed to go back to the mountain. Later, they are... someone uses school word on Wikipedia, and I'm not having it. Later, they are beset by hawks, and Mandy falls to her death as a result. Frank survives the hawk attack and wanders the forest, picks up a little girl who was abandoned when the government quarantined her town. The remaining group abandoned the hike upon finding that their helicopter-dropped food cache... Wait, what? The remaining group abandoned the hike upon finding their helicopter-dropped food cache has been raided by animals. While camping at the site of the food cache for the night, the camp is attacked by mountain lions when Jensen falls asleep while on watch. The next morning, the hiking group catches fish in a nearby stream. Hiker Paul Jensen, an arrogant and violent executive, abandons Buckner and Santy and takes 4 of the hikers with him, Mrs. Goodwin and her son John, and a couple, Bob and Beth. He hopes to find help at a ranger station at a higher altitude. The guide takes their group a less risky route down the mountain. The hikers are not immune to the high-altitude aggression anomaly, and tensions begin to run high. The now psychopathic Jensen acts abusively, pushing his group very hard, yelling at, threatening, and insulting them. Jensen finally breaks down. He gets in a fight with his group and murders Bob. A grizzly bear approaches, and Jensen attempts to rape Beth that night, and he is simply killed while trying to wrestle it. Mrs. Goodwin, John, and Beth flee as Jensen's fatally mauled by the bear. Frank and the little girl make their way to a road in the town the tour left from, finding empty houses and abandoned vehicles and an army truck with a dead driver. He tries to drive her to safety in an abandoned car, but the car is dead. Tries to get his own car from the hotel, leaving the girl alone in a relative safety of a junk car, but is slaughtered by vicious dogs and venomous snakes in front of the girl. John, Mrs. Goodwin, and Beth manage to find refuge inside of an abandoned helicopter as they are attacked by wild dogs. The other group manage to get to town below 5,000 feet, but find it deserted. Pack of German shepherds kills Roy and the professor. Buckner leads his surviving charges into the nearby river on a makeshift raft. The next morning, Beth, Mrs. Goodwin, and John awaken in the downed helicopter to find the wild dogs dead. An Army rescue helicopter is seen coming towards them. U.S. Army soldiers in hazmat gear arrive to secure the towns and find the little girl in the junk car. By then, almost all the animals that went mad have been killed by the same solar radiation that drove them mad in the first place. Buckner, Terry, and Santy are rescued as they float downriver to a ranger station. At the end of the film, a surviving hawk lunges at the screen just before the credits roll for the worst fucking movie that I have had to ever watch in my entire life, and I've seen some real fucking turds.
I mean, this can't be the worst movie you ever saw.
It's up there. I am legitimately trying to think of... There are things that are worse. I'm sure that there are ones that I forgot, but this is pretty bad.
So, if we were going to ask if you were going to marry, yay, nay, slay, or are you offended?
I'm going to the dark web and hiring a hit on this motherfucker.
Wow, that's a 7th option now.
I mean,
Hitman.
No, I mean, no. Hitman means you're trying to cover up the fact that you hate it. I'll fucking. The problem is I can't even justify the fact that this movie holds some sort of place in the zeitgeist of horror because I had never heard of it until you told me that I had to watch it, and then I watched it and it was slower than dog shit, and it didn't help that my power kept going out, and it was just it was a very bad overall experience. The only saving grace is that every 20 to 30 minutes I had about 5 minutes of reprieve from this turd so that my shit could reset. That's about the nicest way I can put it. The nicest, eloquent way I can put it while actually explaining my thoughts.
I would give it a nay.
You pussy.
You know, RG.
Ah, fuck me. I hated that so much.
Sorry.
God damn it.
I'm really proud of myself right now. It's very rare.
You should be. That was really good.
No, I never get you so good. I'm so proud. Yeah, no, this is a nay for me. I wouldn't necessarily slay it. I don't, because I wasn't like emboldened and raged as you are. It really, the only thing that really I hated about this movie, I loved the obnoxiousness of it, and you know, fucking mountain lions are scary as shit, and so are wolves. But they almost ruined Leslie Nielsen for me. So if I had seen this before I had seen like a Naked Gun movie or
that is such a good point.
Or like Dracula Dead and Loving It, I would be like, I don't fucking like that dude. He was weird and rapey in this movie because it was so wild. Because like there is a minutia. I literally didn't even really do minutiae for this movie because there wasn't that many. But basically, the animals were being so negatively affected by the ozone layer and pollution and Leslie Nielsen was the only person to also be affected by it. But they don't make that known. They don't overtly say like, hey, this is actually a pretty decent human being, but because he's being exposed to the elements and he's not like really relaxing and he's just so gung-ho about going forward and walking this like 15 to 30 miles that he's being negatively affected by the ozone and turning him savage. No, you just see this dude who's increasingly panicking because they're lost in the woods and all these animals are fucking attacking them, that he becomes like this crazed rapist. Like, what? And I love Leslie Nielsen. So this almost ruined Leslie Nielsen for me, and it would have if I had seen this.
I'm kind of curious to go back. I mean, you got looking at his filmography. The first movie he actually was in as an actor was in 1956 in the movie Ransom. So you got like 20 years.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my
no.
I who is born in.
You got to keep in mind, I only knew him from the same exact things that you knew him from.
True.
I never saw the 1982 Creepshow, but it's like so.
He's in that.
Oh, yeah. 1982 Creepshow. Richard Vickers. Something to Tide You Over segment. So it's like, dude, the guy was in so much before we got the version of Leslie Nielsen that we know. 1987, the movie Nuts is what they've called his final non-comedy role.
I forgot that he was in Creepshow. I haven't seen Creepshow in a really long time.
Same. Yeah, and then Dangerous Curves in 88, and then the first Naked Gun movie came out in 88 also, and then that was kind of what I think started, because he's in Repossessed also, which at some point we probably need to do that. Which is just a fucking spoof on The Exorcist, if you're not familiar.
I'm not.
You've never seen Repossessed?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
My bad.
No, I haven't seen it in a very long time. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those movies that I've never seen in its entirety, but it was always on like Comedy Central every like so often. So you'd always see like bits and pieces. I'm pretty sure it's a 1990 American comedy horror film that parodies the 73 horror film The Exorcist.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of it, and I know the image of Leslie Nielsen in that movie. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, so The Exorcist, green vomit head spinning scenes, and the real life events such as the televangelist scandals in the 1980s are all spoofed in this movie.
How the fuck did we not watch this in?
Great fucking question. I completely forgot that this was a thing until right now.
Wow, I as you would say, I fucked the dog on that one.
Well, this just leaves room for later stuff.
True.
Film received limited theatrical release. Yeah, 1 month after the release. It came out right after The Exorcist 3.
Which they say, like, Exorcist 3 has the scariest Exorcist scene ever, or like
No.
or
The Exorcist 3 is pretty decent. It's not an awful movie, but no, fuck that.
which Exorcist movie? Because I think I've seen it, but I just don't. I think it's one of those things that I've seen once and then I just kind of forgot about it because I have the memory of a fly. But what's the
Same.
scene in Exorcist where they're in the hospital and then the nurse just like walks across the hallway and it's supposed to be terrifying because she's like holding a
That's
knife or something?
the third one.
Why is that so scary to people?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's the same fucking thing where it's like on Instagram where it's like the scariest movie ever in the history of the world. And then you watch it, I'm like, what the fuck did I watch?
That's kind of how I felt when you played Massacre at the Mirage, because like I had seen so many clips of it and like people flipping out like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Blah, blah. And then
So here's sorry to cut you off, but here's a really good explanation of everything like that. So I'm sure you're at least, if not directly familiar with, you've seen it. There's a clip of after the Undertaker lost, he broke his streak at WrestleMania. It cuts to like a black guy in the crowd, like visibly fucking surprised and shocked. So it was the most recent WWE PLE, because they're not pay-per-views anymore. I was texting Dylan while we were watching it because there was a dude who was in the front row with a red fucking hat who would watch for a certain camera light to turn on, and then he would just react because all he wanted to do is be the new reaction GIF or the new reaction clip that everyone's using. So I feel like that's what all this shit has become.
Yeah.
Anyone plays anything that's mildly scary or mildly anything, mildly startling, and they're just reacting because they want to be the next GIF. I do not fucking like that about this planet.
I mean, that's a fair assessment.
So I think that's all it is. Now, what I was, the only point I want to make, and then we can move on, is the only time that anyone has ever been like, oh, this movie is so fucking terrifying was Nefarious, which is just a very well shot movie and it's a really great story. And then the actor who played, I don't know his name, but the actor who played the bad guy is just really good at it. But you know, it was like if you watch this movie, your house is gonna fucking burn down, you're gonna be cursed, all that other shit.
Yeah.
Fuck off. None of that shit happens. But it's everyone, it's just the reactions. It's the same reason, like everyone just does it for the views or the clicks. It's why you have clickbait to news stories, and it's like, number 4 will shock you. Kat Von D looks like this now?
Oh, that shit. So with all of that knowledge of this movie and this film, so in it we have birds, mountain lions, which terrifying. They're absolutely horrendous. Wolves, bears. I think that's it. Would you survive in this scenario of hiking in the woods for some sort of like retreat of some sort?
No, if I got above 5,000 feet and shit was gonna go south, I don't think I would have come out alive. The first bear would have seen me. He'd be like, "Man, you look delightfully seasoned and plump," and it would have been game over.
Number one, I would not survive because mountain lions, they leave nothing. You're dead.
Right. They'd start with the asshole too.
Pardon?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's mountain lions, but certain animals start eating the asshole because it's like a tender spot and it smells the worst. So that's where they start.
Hold on.
Let me go incognito for this one because I'm pretty sure I'm not far off, but I'm not 100% right.
Please get the facts on that one before we even continue.
Because it's softer, skeletally wider, and easier to access the internal organs.
Oh, so this is a legit real thing.
Yeah, and the organs are more nutritious than muscle meat, so that's why they go for it. I mean, I did Google why do animals eat the asshole first, and I could have just gone with butt, I guess. Vultures.
Wow.
Vultures eat animals' butt first.
So this is a thought that, there's like that saying of just like, you should always make sure you're wearing clean underwear because you never know what's going to happen. Like they always like, the worst possible thing could happen to you. And then you're getting pulled out of your car and thrown into an ambulance and your fucking drawers are dirty, which I'm like, that's the least of my concerns, honestly. Because if a car has mangled me that bad, I probably shit myself. But
True.
now when I'm out in nature, I have to worry about the fact that if by chance a wild animal ends me, that not only
it's going straight for your asshole.
Not only am I dead, but when I'm found, my
you'll have a clean, torn apart asshole.
Wow, what That's some knowledge I did not know that was going to sandbag me tonight.
Yep.
And it's a fact that's going to haunt me. And ow!
Your cat's trying to get to your asshole.
Yeah, and I'm wearing shorts, so she just stuck her nails right in my fucking thigh.
It's that sweet organ meat.
Yeah, that's a fact that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life, I think. And I'm going to tell everybody.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name's Erika. Did you know that animals eat the asshole first?
I'm just getting a shirt that says it. I'm literally, you know what I should do? I should do.
Animals eat your ass first. So
I'm gonna do themed Monster Madness shirts where it has the logo on the front, and then on the back it's gonna say something random. So the fucking quote for this season is gonna be, "Do you know that animals eat your ass first?" That's it. No context. No other context.
I like it.
So I don't have many monster minutiae because that pretty much just. I wish we would start with that.
Asshole.
Clearly the vultures are gonna. Sorry guys if you hear thunder in the background. Can't control it. Random flash thunderstorms occurring right now. But so the bear in this movie was actually the bear used in Grizzly, and it's the same director. This is literally the only minutiae I have for this that's of any interest. Like I have the trained animals used in the film were a mix of real wildlife and trained domestic animals, leading to some unintentional funny scenes, which I don't know what that means. The film was shot in California, Sierra Nevada mountains, providing a stunning yet ominous backdrop. One of the earliest horror films to reference climate change, because, you know, for a long time they were like, oh, that's a pseudoscience, like climate change is a thing, but clearly climate change is real. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how to top that fact you just threw at us. So, yeah, so that's going to do it on this episode of Monster Madness. Make sure that you follow us on socials and you leave those reviews and you protect those asses, man, because those animals are coming for you. You did that just for Seth, didn't you?
I did it for whomever's listening and wants to hear me go.
I hate this show. I think I do.
Hell, I could take care of us better than Hotshot has done.
Here's your head. The only way we're gonna get out of this is if we stay together.
Well, let me tell you something, Hotshot. I use my head all the time. A lot of people use their butts.
Now it's 30 miles back down there in the valley and 15 miles up to the Ranger Tower.
Sure, Jensen. 15 miles up to the tower. The radio said evacuate, not go back up.
We're going down the valley, Mr. Jensen. And I'd like you to join us.
Well, I'm not through talking yet, Hotshot.
Now you can tell Seth you love him, and then it can be an outtake and see if he listens.
Seth, I love you so much. It's going to be the blooper at the end of the show.
Perfect. See if he pays attention.